up, world? Welcome to the Positive Truth, uplifting and positive news for a more progressive society. Tim, what are we trying to break?
Here at The Positive Truth, we're trying to bring awareness, empowerment, inspiration, optimism, and understanding to communities everywhere.
Yeah, we're going to talk about our favorite positive news stories of June 2019. We got 6 we're going to do. 2 of my favorites, 2 of Tim's favorites, and 2 of your favorites. Which those are our favorites too. It's like we all win.
Nothing but facts.
Before we get to that, make sure to like, share, subscribe, rate, and review. Helps us out so much. Supports our audio-visual episode that is this Monday when you're listening to. And yeah, helps us grow.
Yeah!
Tim, do you want to talk about one of your favorite positive news stories?
Absolutely. I'm talking about this one because I know it's going to lead you into yours. A Jamaican businessman organizes trash collecting tournament and removes over 11,000 pounds of trash from the sea. Whenever I first talked about this story, I was like, yo, he put together a tournament for people to pick up trash? You mean to clean the earth, to take care of it? This is amazing. How much more positive can this get? So I definitely wanted to talk about him. His name was Brandon McCoy. Dope last name, just throwing that one out there. Spelled differently than mine, but still, I appreciate it. And I really like this, the article. And in the article, he actually was quoted by saying, the solution cannot possibly be that we have to have a tournament every weekend to clean the garbage and keep it clean. The solution lies in the method of preventing it completely from getting into the sea in the first place. It really touched me there because he's absolutely right. We're all doing our part picking up trash, but at the same time, we also got to do our part by making sure it's not getting put there in the first place.
It's always easier to treat a problem before it starts than after.
Let him know, JP.
But that does lead to my first one because, I feel like the trash tag challenge is definitely leading for Positive Truth Person
Facts
of the year.
Oh, I'm glad we agreed to that one. Woo-hoo.
So mine was in Florida. It was a Guinness World Record where 633 divers retrieved 1,600 pounds of trash and 60 pounds of fishing line from a beach in a fishing pier in Florida.
Boom. Like in our reality.
I don't know what else to say to that. They dove in. This is trash that was at the bottom of the sea, and they went and picked it up. 1,600 pounds. That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's amazing. Like, when I first saw this story, I'm like, yo, 600, what are they doing? Like, who thought this? Like, in all reality, like, who thought of, like, getting all these people to put on some scuba gear to go down and pick up trash from the bottom of the ocean? I'm thinking about, like, parks and streets and stuff like that, and there's people literally thinking, like, outside the box for real and going into the bottom of the ocean, and it makes perfect sense why they did it. I love that they did it, and Trash Tag Challenge is amazing, and this is definitely one of the top 3 of all time for sure.
So, this reminded me, this was not planned beforehand. My mom told me about a positive news story that I hadn't heard. So apparently there's a golf tournament that happened a few weeks ago, the little Pebble Beach.
Oh, okay.
And they had golf balls that would go to the ocean. And a little middle schooler, she took her scuba gear and she discovered that the currents pushed all the golf balls in one place. And they went in and picked them up, got them all cleaned out, and then they changed the golf course to make sure that didn't happen later on. The youth are awesome, and it's a trash tag challenge, and it relates to this.
And it's a bonus story. That's awesome, man. I'm loving that.
So yeah, that's super dope. What was your next favorite positive news story?
Oh man, shout out to all the PE teachers out there. I hope they pick up on this news story. But an Iowa school is giving students PE credits they basically giving them PE credits for helping elderly people with disabilities with yard work. How dope is that? There's so many people in my community that could use help with yard work. And these kids are tired of sitting in a classroom already as it is. Even in the gym, they're sitting on the wall when I go in there sometimes just like, can this hour be over with already? That being said, like, how awesome would it be? You can get this PE credit by going over here, helping the elderly man down the street that shouldn't be cutting his grass anymore. You can go cut his grass for him and we'll give you some credit. I think that's a beautiful thing. You're helping your community. You're helping these kids learn new crafts, new skills. I'm 100% behind this.
Perfectly said, Tim. I just want to say I took my share of gym classes and I loved them all. There was never
all his life.
There was never sitting on the wall for me. But yeah, this is awesome. Everyone wins. The elderly win. People with disabilities win. I think they're doing veterans too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The veterans win, and then the kids get to build community and trust. And they're like, oh, this is awesome. Volunteering's great.
Boom.
So yeah, that's an absolutely perfect news story. Mine is actually one of my favorite positive news stories. Is something you talked about. It was about a school in Dayton, Maine and they had their first ever deaf student, and so they taught all the kindergartners how to do sign language to greet her. It's just...
That's beautiful, man. It definitely said, "Oh, my heart." Like, I'm glad that was one of your favorite stories. I did forget about that story. That story was amazing, man. They hired they had signs put up all over the school so these kids can like look and see what these signs mean, so they can learn it as well as being instructed how to do it. I bet
the girl was all smiles.
Yeah, all smiles. She felt at home. Like, you
Is there a better first day of school?
can't be. No, what she's gonna remember that for the rest of her life. Like, wish every school was like this. She probably thinks school's supposed to be like this now. Great job.
Absolutely great job. Before we get to you all's favorite 2 positive news stories, on our Wednesday, Friday episodes, we like to do audio meditation. And like, why don't we do that on our favorite positive news stories day?
Absolutely.
So the audio meditation is where me and Tim talk about 2 things we're grateful for. 1 thing we're grateful for each, because in the stresses of life, we often overlook all the great things going on in our own lives. We encourage everyone listening to think of 1 thing you're grateful for as well. So Tim, what are you grateful for?
Random acts of kindness. So I was at work today, literally like right before I got here. I am stressed out beyond belief. We had like 3 people call in, serving, right? I'm getting drinks, cleaning off tables. Somebody else over there needed help. Customers over there needed help. So I'm running around, I'm sweating. And this lady comes by and is like, "Hey, Tim, you're not my server. I just want to stop and say you're doing a great job." Like, "Thank you, man, but I'm really busy, so let me get back to work," right? And then 10 minutes later, "Tim, I know you're really busy. Keep doing a good job. These other people are watching you. I promise you, they appreciate how hard you're working." And I'm like, "Man, I appreciate the compliments, but I gotta go, man." So I'm running, I'm still working and stuff. And at the end of the shift, I'm just sitting there thinking like, yo, that lady really stopped me to tell me how good of a job I'm doing. I was stressed out beyond belief, but this is all I can remember from my shift. I don't remember all the bad times that just happened, even though I'm talking about it now, but all I do remember emotionally is feeling good because she told me I was doing a great job. So to me, I'm definitely thankful for random acts of kindness.
Just saying 1 nice thing can go so far.
Man, absolutely. We'd be talking about you on a podcast, you don't even know it.
Exactly. Well, I was going to say I was going to be, I feel like that just tops mine so much. I was going to say I was going to be grateful for you and JoJo's response time with text, because we're all busy. So anytime you all don't text me, I know y'all are busy too. And then like the second you're not busy, it's like a quick, like I text you an hour before we came in, and you didn't text me back. And the second you got off work, you ready? You're like, word. I appreciate that so much, because sometimes,
Forget to text back.
or just like people, we're all busy. And it's just like we're all about the business. I really appreciate that.
Tú sabes, man.
So now we should get to the people's favorite 2 positive news stories.
Absolutely, man. I'll go ahead and start us off if that's cool with you. This one was a shock to me. JP actually showed me, yo, this was their favorite. I'm like, nah, there's no way. So I'm scrolling down on Facebook. This one got 42 shares on Facebook. That's a big deal for us. Some people that may not be, but we're talking about Kansas City refuses to let veterans stay homeless, and they decide to build them their own townhomes for free. So the fact that they did this was amazing in itself, but the fact that the people loved it and they were sharing it and spreading this positivity makes it so much more special to me, because veterans should not be homeless in the United States. We all know this. We talk about them on Veterans Day. We talk about them on Memorial
Can
Day.
I add to that? No one should be homeless in this state.
Bars.
This country is just too rich. Continue.
Exactly, you're 100% right. But like, we talk about them on Veterans Day. We talk about them on Memorial Day. But those days in between, those days after, those days before, some people are just sitting back quiet. So the fact that we're doing this podcast, the fact that we know other people doing podcasts just as great as we're doing, and people are talking about this now. People are sharing this positive news stories. People are actually doing something about it. That's why I love it, and I'm glad that the people loved it.
So, about homelessness, well, 2 things. We choose you all's favorite positive news stories based on how many likes and shares are on when we post them on our Facebook page. It's Positive Truth Podcast. So go check out that page if you need some positive news stories. Secondly, we know how to fix homelessness. We've done positive news stories about this. If you put someone in a cheap home, all of a sudden everything gets easier. You can't do anything without some place to put your clothes, some place to sleep consistently, or some place to, like, I don't know, get a shower, get clean. If you don't have any of those things, it's really hard to not be homeless anymore, because it's so hard. Like, you're just spending so much of your time, where am I going to sleep tonight?
It's the same vicious cycle. You can't get out of that cycle if you can't clean up.
And every city, we started with Sacramento, we've done so many positive news stories about the homeless. They were like, oh, this works, put them in homes. And in every city, it's like, oh yeah, if you just put people in homes, you get rid of 90% of homelessness. And that's what they're doing with the veterans. And they deserve it, and it's awesome, and everyone loved it.
Let them know, JP. Let them know.
You want to talk about the second?
Oh, absolutely. So, Oklahoma rapper JB, we've interviewed him here. I saw this actually real quick, and I shared it to our Facebook page, right? I saw this on somebody else shared this. I don't even know who shared this, to be honest with you. But JB, the rapper from Oklahoma that we've interviewed, he saw that this Douglas Community Center, they weren't raising enough money. They were raising about $5 to $10 a month.
A month?
A month. So kids couldn't come and do arts and craft and dance and do things they normally would do because they don't have enough money. So once JB found out about this, he said, you know what? Like, I'm not about to have these kids hurt because of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a benefit concert on July 7th. And that's exactly what he shared on Facebook. And now there's links that we can definitely share to our Facebook page. It's actually already on one of our comments on the Facebook page in the article where you can click on the link and donate. We already had one person donate, which is pretty awesome in itself. I know I plan on being there, actually. I'm going to treat this as a date night with my wife. We're going to go down there. Can't donate the world, but we're going to donate a little bit of cash because we definitely want to be a part of this movement.
When
for
is
sure.
June 7th, a Sunday?
July 7th, yeah.
July 7th?
Yeah, Thursday is the 4th, so I'm going to say it's a Sunday.
Let's count. Friday's the 5th.
Saturday's the 6th. Math with the positive truth.
So, this got a lot of shares too. The reason I wanted to talk about it is because we do our positive news stories on Wednesday, Friday, our 6. We often post stories that we don't talk about on there because we have so many. And this is one that Tim posted that we didn't talk about on the episode. And people were asking me about it. And I had no idea what they were talking about. People are hitting me up like, yo, how I donate to this? And I'm like, because I don't really get on social media that often.
Right.
Shout out to you, Tim, holding it down. But people were hitting me up, and I'm like, I knew it was JB. I was like, he's got a few websites.
Check it out.
Yeah. We got links in our interview of him. So, yeah, this is just people were reaching out to me about donating to this, something they saw on our page.
That's what we're here for, man. We're here. If you want to find some positive news, you want to find ways to give back, that's what we're here for. It's funny that they were hitting you up about it. But I'm sorry about that. But still, the dope thing about it is, to me, the dopest thing about this whole story we're talking about it, somebody asked on our Facebook page how to donate. I didn't know how. All I did was tag JB. I'll contact JB and see what we could do. Within minutes, he responded back with a link and how to donate, which was awesome, man. The connections that we're making with this positive movement we're going with, it's beautiful to me, man. I'm glad we're a part of it, for sure.
And this was just June 2019. We got a whole long ways to go. We'll be back for July 2019. Tim, do you have a quote so we get out of here?
The years are halfway over. That's wild to me. I do have a quote, though. Take that, world. When you know what you want and want it bad enough, you'll find a way to get it. Bars.
Got that, JoJo. I was going to ask, is that who said it? Bars? Anonymous. You should just...
Jim Ron. Take that, world.
You should just start claiming all of these that are anonymous, Tim.
Yeah, but somebody else...
And then in 100, 200 years, you're going to be on all the quote websites. Tim McCoy said this.
I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to start doing. Unknown, a.k.a. Tim.
And we'll be back soon with more positive news. Till then, we're out.
Stay positive. Still recording? No, I'm just kidding.
I am here, though.
Take that, Tim. You're not winning this.